Okay, Vishwa Kalyan Group, with kind permission of our principal, Dr. Anjana Rawat and Chaitrali Vankar ma'am, will start with the webinar. Okay, all the best.
Respected Principal Ma'am, Dr. Mrs. Anjana Rawat, our esteemed guest speaker today, Ms. Chaitrali Vankar, our ever-inspiring professors and teaching faculties, Ketan Kamble sir, Savita Upasani ma'am, Pratibha Patil ma'am, and Paul Mati Lucas ma'am, staff members, my dear colleagues, classmates, and most importantly, our audience today. I welcome wholeheartedly to all of you to today's webinar on teen stress awareness and management that has been arranged by the second year B.Ed students of Dhyan Ganga Education College as part of our community work, which is organized in association with Vishwa Kalyan Samajik Sanstha, Anna Foundation, Khushiyan Foundation, and People's Foundation. Today's topic, teen stress awareness and management, is one that has been persistent issue from the times probably even when we were adolescents. But presently, it's an urgent topic that needs to be addressed and talked openly and widely to create an awareness among teens and their parents, because today's Instagram and Facebook driven teens are way more vulnerable to stress than their previous generation ever was. So be it stress related to body image, exam anxiety, any kind of harassments in the family or outside the family, inability to fit into the popular teenage culture, or simply puberty. There are numerous social and personal triggers which can put a teenager into the grips of stress and anxiety. The current pandemic has further holed them up into the houses, leaving them distressed as they suffer the obvious consequences of social distancing and continuous online classes. Often the teen issues, they remain unnoticed due to social stigma or utter shyness. Teenagers often fail to voice their problems and hide their issues even from the parents. And on the other hand, a lot of parents, being unaware and unobservant, what they do is they miss out on the reading, on reading the telltale signs of the stress on their teenagers. Our today's webinar is an effort to pin down and deconstruct the definition of stress in teenagers, what causes them, common stress triggers, how to manage them, and most importantly, how parents can be part of their children's journey to adulthood by supporting them the best they can during these vulnerable years. So without further ado, I would like to request my dear friend, Ms. Srija Raghavan, to begin our webinar by shedding some light on what teenage stress is all about.
Thank you, Jenny ma'am. So as we all know the word stress, right? So before knowing what stress management is and why stress management is important, let us first know about what is stress. So scientifically, stress is meant as physical and mental health issues that happens to us whenever we do overthinking or we have the situation in our life when we feel that tomorrow there is a deadline that I have to complete, and a lot of such things that comes to our mind. This causes stress. We can find this in every generation, from small kids to the elder people. Everyone faces stress, right? The person, all of us who are attending this webinar will be saying this, that at one or the other point of our life we have gone through stress. We cannot deny that particular fact. So basically, this is what stress is, and of course, the teenage also is facing the stress, as we all are going through pandemic situation. So this being a period, there were a lot of stress that has been added on to us, because the situations completely were different at this point of time for the teenagers as well. They had to study online, which was not a format that they were going throughout their study time. So it was a difficult journey, and there were a lot of stress that they have to go through. So why stress management is important? Because these all stress has to be handled, and we cannot live with that negative thoughts in our mind, and we have to overcome all this stress. So let's see what stress management is in our next slide. So, as it is said, stress produces numerous physical and mental symptoms which vary according to each individual situational factors, which is a fact that it varies among all of us. We don't have the same stress. Like, if I may have a different stress, my particular brother or sister will have different kind of stress. Some may have job related stress, some may have thinking about the livelihood, some may have financial stress. It varies among our situational factors, like what is happening in our life, that kind of stress we face. Tomorrow I have to give a speech on a in front of 100 people, so that will cause a stress inside a student in me, that will I be able to do that, will I be able to face them. But we all have to overcome that fear inside us, and we have to manage that stress. So what is stress management process altogether? It is named as one of the keys to be happy and successful life in modern life, modern society. We have to be happy. To be stress free, very important, we have to be happy towards our life that we have got. We have to work around the problems that we are facing and give it back with a smile. So let's see what are the importance of stress management in our life in our second slide. Okay, so we all know stress management is important. So why is it important? We don't know much about that why we should manage stress, and that particular process has to be taken care of. Because we can sleep better. Whenever we are in stress, we can feel that anxiety in us, there is a depression in us, due to which we are not able to sleep. We don't feel like sleeping. We have a lot of thinking going on in our mind, which will obviously impact on our sleep. So if you try and manage your stress, we will definitely sleep better and our mind will be fresh. Next is that you can control your weight. Of course, if we are stress free, we are not taking tension, we are not thinking about anything wrong will be happening with us. So definitely we will eat healthy, we will eat on time, which will obviously improve our health condition and we won't be sick enough. As the next point is that we get sick less often. We will not feel sick each and every day, or we won't get affected by a small climatic change, because being happy is something that will always help us in our healthy life and for our lifetime. It feels better faster when you do get sick. If I also feel sick today, but if I am fresh minded and I don't have any problem in my mind, so definitely I'll get quickly well with my sickness. I'll be in a better mood. Very important. You have to be in a better mood to face this stress problem that we are going through. If we tackle that stress, we will definitely be in a very happy mood and a better mood. Everything will be seemed happy around us. We will feel like, yes, it is a positive thinking will generate inside ourselves, and we will definitely look into everything in a positive way. No, I can do it. I will give my 100%. I will never be a failure. I will not even think that I won't be able to do that. I will always think that I can do it. I can try once. Maybe I can fail in that, but still trying will improve my confidence and increase my confidence, and it will tackle me from the stress that I'm going through. Last, it's get along better with family and friends. The most amazing thing in our life is to get in a better mood with our family and friends. Very important, we have to be stress free for that, because if we are thinking a lot of things, we won't be able to communicate with our parents, with our family, with our colleagues, friends, anyone. We won't be able to discuss anything with them because we are always thinking negative in our mind. So very importantly, like, if we manage our stress and not think much about it, definitely it will help us to get better with our family and friends, and we can lead a happy life. So this is about my part. I would request Saima ma'am, my colleague, to guide you on what are the causes of stress and how it are the effects of stress. Over to you, Saima ma'am.
Thank you, Shrija. Good afternoon to everyone. Myself, Saima Mishkat. I will discuss about stress in students. As already discussed by Shrija, I would like to say that for the past 1 year, due to coronavirus pandemic, the entire learning scenario has changed for students. Children are learning through online classes from their home. So this transition from classroom-based learning to online learning can be quite stressful for students, as they are not used to this new way of learning. So at the moment, it is important for parents and teachers to acknowledge the anxiety that the students might be feeling. Now I will be discussing about the causes of stress. See, the causes of stress are also known as triggers or stressors. Causes of stress can be due to, in students, can be due to pure academic load, like difficult subjects like maths and science, where the course is too much. And then again, they are overburdened by other things like projects, assignments, and exams. So this can be a reason for cause of stress in students. And as a result, they also get poor grades in their exams. Then the second point is expectation from parents and teachers. Expectations can sometimes be discouraging for few students, as every child is different and unique. So constant expectations can lead to stress in students, and they start thinking from others' perspective rather than their own thoughts and their own way of dealing with things. Third point is lack of self-esteem. Lack of self-esteem occurs when parents unknowingly start comparing their children with other children. So this can lead to low confidence, and thus it can result in stress. Then there can be family problems, like if children are facing day-to-day arguments, they are looking at the parents, they are arguing in front of them. So this can also cause stress in the mind of a student, as they are very young, they are not capable of handling it. Then the most important point which can cause too much stress in students can be death of their loved ones, like their parents or anyone who is near to them. Then the career path can also have an effect on the stress. It can increase the stress level because they are worried about their present, so their future also gets affected. Now I would like to come to the next slide, which is the effect of stress on students. Now the effect of stress on students can be psychological effect as well as behavioral effects. Then the psychological effects which the teachers and parents can see in their day-to-day life. They will find students being depressed in classroom, at home. They get bored very easily. Then they start crying at little things. They also get suspicious. They think that parents and teachers are talking about them. So they also sometimes get negative attitude. They feel lonely. And they also enter into excessive daydreaming because they are trying to get out of the situation they are in. Then we will find the behavioral effects, in which we find that children, they switch over to smoking, or they start taking drugs and alcohol in order to avoid the stress. So these are the stresses in students which can be seen. Then their behavior also becomes impulsive. They become emotional. Then you can sometimes see inappropriate crying. They also become aggressive. They get into overeating, which can lead to obesity in them. Then they also, because of low self-esteem and less confidence, they also lack the initiative. They are not able to take the initiative of getting out from a situation. Then they also start finding fault in other people. They become antisocial and they start forgetting things. They become a little bit irresponsible. Then the other effects which we can see in the students are their effectiveness. Their effectiveness towards their studies, their day-to-day routine also decreases. They become accident prone. Then their judgment also becomes poor. Then they also find difficulty in concentration, and they no longer enjoy the classes as a result, which tends to increase the absenteeism, and they start making more mistakes. So this is all from my end. Now I would like to hand over the further presentation to Ms. Simran. Thank you. Simran, please unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to talk about puberty today. When you hear the word puberty, what does come to your mind? You may write your answers in the chat box. When we hear puberty, usually we think about the menses. But the boys also go through this puberty phase. We talk less about boys and more about girls usually. Today we will talk about both equally. First of all, what is puberty? Puberty is the time in life when a boy or girl becomes sexually mature. So, girl transits from girl to a woman and boy transits from boy to a man. It is a process that usually happens in the age of 10 to 14 for girls and 12 to 16 for boys. It causes a lot of physical changes that affects boys and girls differently. What are the first signs of puberty? First signs of puberty is your skin starts getting oilier, your pubic hair and underarm hair starts growing, you get acne on face or as well as on your back. So these are the both things which are equal in girl and boy. Okay, what difference is girls' hip bone gets wider and boys' penis get longer, and along with the testes they get longer. Sometimes testes, one testis is small and another is bigger, but eventually they will come to a point. But this process is really difficult and affects affects physically and mentally equally on the girl and boy. Next slide, please. So this puberty, it doesn't come suddenly. It comes in stages, step by step over the years. Okay, let's see what are the stages. In boys, it starts around 11, where their pubic starts growing. So that is a sign that boy is growing up now. Their boys either crackle or the voice comes differently then, which will be to the muscular boys. They get muscles, larger muscles, acne appears, facial hair also comes in at the last stage. They get beard and the mustache. In girls, it starts around 9 to 10, 11 years. Same, they start growing pubic hair and underarm hair. Along with it, their breast starts growing. Okay, they get acne then, and last their first period arrives. After that, it still goes on for 2 years, and they become their reproductive organs and genitals get fully developed by the age of 15. Next slide, please. Now, all these changes we have seen, they put a lot of pressure, anxiety, and challenges in front of boys and girls because they don't know what is happening in their body. Okay, so these are the challenges: physical, psychological, emotional, behavioral, and social. Physical changes. Due to physical changes, due to hormonal changes, they feel a lot of physical changes in that. Growth of the body parts, they feel ashamed, shy to go out because of that. Okay, they get acne, so they become reservant, and they feel, oh my god, my face is not looking good, how can I go to party, how will I fit in? Okay, next is growth spurt. Growth spurt, it increases the height in boys and girls while puberty. Okay, growth spurt causes pain in legs and arms and shoulder. So they don't know why it is happening, but it is happening to them, which puts a psychological and emotional effect. They are worried about their looks because they get acne, because their body parts are changing and growing. So suddenly from a girl to a woman, from boy to a man, they feel different. So they are worried about their looks. Their mood changes, keeps on changes. Why? Because they always think about their changes in their body, which they are not able to express. The feelings they are getting, they are not able to express. So they become moody. Okay, their self-esteem problems comes in here. The other girl is looking better. She has less acne. I have more acne. Why I have got so many acne? Same happens with the boys. Even they get acne. Even they feel pressurized. They want to, grow their hair. They want these spikes. Why? Because they compare themselves with the other kids. Okay, so there comes self-esteem problem. Then, because of all these problems, they get aggressive because they are not able to express their feeling. They start lying to their parents. Why? Because sometimes they want to go with some group where parents doesn't allow. They want to party out. Maybe they want spikes. Girls, maybe they want to wear shorts, which parents doesn't allow. Ultimately, they end up in lying with their parents. Their hairstyle and dressing changes a lot, and it is almost like adults. Then there is a social challenge. What social challenges they feel? They feel pressure of fitting into a cool group. There is a cool group. some boys who have their spikes, who wear funky watches, So and there is another term also which I heard that, they have, if you have girlfriend, you're cool. If you have boyfriend, you're cool. So these pressure is a lot different on them and they're not able to talk about it. So this is also pressure of fitting in. Then attraction towards opposite sex also increases in these days, which is really weird feeling for both boys and girls. Now let's see how we will tackle all these challenges, how you can help your teenager, how teachers can help their students during this phase. Okay, first of all, puberty education is of most important. One must educate girls as well as boys about the puberty, what changes they are going to see in their body, why they are there, and it is nothing to shy about. They can talk about openly, but with whom? With their parents, teacher, or doctor. Please don't trust anyone else. Trust these persons because they are adults and they know, they have been through all stages, so they can guide you properly. Second is reassurance. Please provide reassurance that it's okay. Whatever is happening is okay. If you have physical pressure, mental pressure, it's okay. You will go through it. So supporting them all the time, reassuring that it's okay, you're normal, will help them. After that is helping to adapt changes. See, they have many changes in their body, right? If I talk about girl, they may start wearing bra to support their breasts, growing breasts. So they feel uncomfortable, they feel shy. Why is this happening to me? So we have to console them, we have to teach them, we have to help them to adapt that change in them. So talk about it. Listening to their problems. Are jane do, hota hai. No, not like that. You have to listen to them properly, then guide them. This way, you will gain their trust. Okay. Then teachers can use creative ideas in the classroom for the social, social gatherings and social mix-up with the other classmates. Creative activities like what's in the box. What's in the box? You can assume your mind is a box and you have to talk about it. What's in your mind? So they'll talk about it. They will share their experience, their feelings, which eventually will gain trust. Handling moodiness. So they become very moody. You have to handle that with love and care. Handling aggression. Aggression is also important because they are not able to express what's happening. They get aggressive. Sometimes because of, school bullying and all, they get aggressive. The cool group bullies the lower group. So they get aggressive. So teachers has to handle that at school and parents at home. Okay. Empathy and understanding is also an important point. Installing value, you have to install value in your kids. As in, it's not that only small kids needs the installing of value. At this stage also, you may give them a role model that you have to be like this. Yeah, so and so person has come to this level, and this is not to be a hero or heroine from the filmy world. No, that is fake world. They always role play. Give them a real life role model. Okay, that will build self-confidence in them. Let them talk, let them take decisions. That will help to build their confidence. And last but not the least, educate them about the, personal hygiene, cleanliness. So that will also help them to go through this puberty. Here I end the stress of puberty and how you can handle. And I may now hand over this to Pratima.
Hello everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Hello everyone. I'm Pratima Kulkarni and today I'm going to present a small video and talk on exam ka pressure. So let's have a look on our video first.
Formula for speed, distance and time. Concentrate myself on my learning, not going to be proud of this.
बेटा you have already revised this 3 times.
No.
पापा ये
हमारी बात हुई थी ना 90% लाओगे तो ही पीएस मिलेगा.
पापा ये अच्छे से एग्जाम देना बेटा. चाची के सामने नाक मत कटवाना. वो ज्यादा अच्छे मार्क्स से. ठीक है बेटा. I know you will get good marks. चलो खा लो बेटा.
I did total. सारे क्वेश्चन ठीक हैं.
You have to make me proud, remember, no? Hey, cheer up, come on, bye.
जाओ. All the best.
Our exam. Tell me about it.
Excuse me, parents. Please come with me to classroom 4A. Good morning, parents.
Good morning.
I have an announcement to make. You all have assembled here for parent-teacher meeting, right? But instead, you will give the same exam which your children are giving.
अरे पर ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? Without any warning, without any preparation, it's not easy for parents to give an exam, no?
Okay, class, last 10 minutes.
How much did you get?
20.
That's cool. How much did you get? At 40 years of age, you want to know my marks. Keep quiet. Like, I know these are really bad marks, but, you know, only thing I could think is I need a little more preparation time.
1, 2, 3.
Listen.
No.
I'll give you...
लॉक पेपर दिखाओ. अरे वाह 24. मैंने बोला था ना तुम एग्जाम्स में अच्छा करोगी. बेकार का टेंशन लेती रहती हो. ये देखो मुझे तो सिर्फ 21 मिले. सी
4 मार्क्स कहाँ गए?
ओके चिल्ला.
I was like all planned, but I was trying my best to, you know, perform well.
19 कैसे मिला तुझे?
मिल गया ना, अब मेरा PS दो.
12. Because my kids, I want to prove right, but I had no choice. I mean, I was really... Sorry, but I'm proud of you.
निश्चित.
Sorry यार. We shouldn't give such stress to our kids. We are really wrong, and I'm sorry about that.
You know, I was unprepared and maybe I didn't get the kind of results I want, but I'm sure he should be knowing what he wants to do in life, and I'm sure he's going to do a great job. I think I'm not pressuring him anymore from now.
I mean एग्जाम के टाइम ऑलरेडी वो इतने स्ट्रेस से गुजर रहे हैं. अनड्यू प्रेशर डालने से क्या होता है वो और थोड़े कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. सो आई बिलीव नॉट टू डू. जस्ट लेट देम बी फ्री.
There's enough rat race and enough pressure in school. At least as parents, let's not give them more.
Video launched by Cellopen aims at illustrating the change of perception of parents in exam time after having themselves the same exam. While taking the test, they experience the level of stress that their kids go through. They realize that their constant pressure on their kids to get good marks only leads to creation of extra stress. The surprise test leads to a change in the perception and belief that encouragement works better than pressure. We should understand the kind of stress that students go through during exams. While setting expectation for their child's sake, parents at times unknowingly put pressure on their kids before exam, adding to overall stress. At this critical stage, parents play a very crucial role during exam time. Their encouraging words make a lot of difference and have a good impact on children's hearts and minds. Encouragement boosts their confidence and helps them to prepare better. Every year, more than 1 crore of students appear for board examinations. Now imagine the amount of pressure your child might be facing before and during the examination with such a competition, and also including pandemic situation which has changed entire education system a lot. As a parent, you cannot change this system and situation, but you can, however, take a small step to make it easier for your kids. Few words for parents and students. Students should always involve their parents in their studies so that they can know the actual position of the child in academic wise, and they can help them to overcome the problem if anything happens. Students must discuss their exam strategies with their parents. The live example here is that a mother of class 10 student realized that his son is having a habit of solving the paper in a very sequential way. So he discussed the problem with his son that whenever you are doing this way, you are ignoring the weighted part because the upper level questions carry less weightage, whereas the lower level questions carry a more weightage. So you should try the questions which are having higher weightage. You should solve this first. Involving parents in studies always motivates both parents and children. Every child is different and no one knows your child better than a parent. You should give them free hand, keeping a view on their progress too. At last, I will say, as a parent, you should be with them and let them grow. Now I would like to call Ms. Kuchita to inform us how to handle the stress with a live example. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratibha ma'am. Very nice example you have given that for kids to grow as they are. We should not pressurize them that they should become like us or they should become like other. Every child is unique. They have some unique quality. So better we should let them grow like that. Okay. So now I'm going to present stress management in real world, and I will explain that to what extent stress is dangerous for us. Yes, next slide. Okay, participants, here I want your participation. Everyone, please mute yourself. Write the answer in the chat box. You all can see that there is a person holding a glass of water in his hand. Okay, you can see that I am also holding a glass of water in my hand. Now tell me what kind of thought is coming in your mind when you are watching this glass of water in my hand. What kind of thought is coming in your mind? Please write it in the chat box. Yes, half filled, half empty. Glass has enough water, glass is full, half empty, half full. Okay. Okay, participant. Half empty, half full is nothing but it is also an example of pessimism and optimism. But today I am going to talk in a different context. I am not talking about pessimism and optimism. See, now I want to ask you the next question, that if this glass of water I will hold for a time period of 1 minute in my hand, what will be the impact? Please write the answer in the chat box. What will be the impact if I am going to hold this half glass of water in my hand for a time period of 1 minute? Correct. Very correct. Namrata, very correct. You are saying nothing. Nothing. If I am going to hold this half glass of water in my hand for a time period of 1 minute, nothing will happen. No impact will be there. Now I am changing my question. If I am going to hold this half glass of water in my hand for a time period of 1 hour, then what will be the impact? Please write the answer. Pressure, painful, getting irritated. Your hand will ache. Rachna Haria, very correct. Your answer is very correct. My arm, my hand will start aching. If I will hold this half glass of water in my hand, this arm area will start aching. Now I am changing my question. What will be the impact if I will hold this half glass of water for full day, since morning till evening? What will be the impact? Hand pain, tired, frustrated, stressful, irritating. My hands will freeze. Very correct. You are very correct. What will be the impact? My whole hand will start aching and my hand may feel paralyzed. Okay. Since morning till evening, I will be not able to do anything. I will keep holding this half glass of water. So I am losing my productivity. Now, this half glass of water is nothing but stress, the worry that you are carrying. my previous colleagues has very well explained you that stress is very normal phenomenon. There is nothing negative about stress. The only important thing is that we have to learn how to release it. See, I'm releasing this, I'm keeping this half glass of water. I have released it. Now my hands are free. Okay. So you have to learn how to release your stress as soon as possible. Don't hold your stress for a longer period of time. The more longer period of time you will hold it, the impact will be more severe. So that is what I wanted to explain. Yes, next slide, Salmali ma'am. Let's come to how to handle the stress part. Now we have understood very well that we have to learn how to release our stress. For teenagers, it is very important to eat healthy, to sleep well. Okay, you all very know that sleep and eating healthy food is very important for our body, for very important for our mind. Make time for fun and quiet. Okay, we generally focus on that. Yes, I am very stressed. Let's watch TV. Let's gossip with my friends. Let's do some hobby work. But we never think that we also need some silence. Our brain needs some silence. Meditation. That also relax your brain. That makes your brain stress free. So better you make time for both. Talk it out. You have neighbors, you have family, you have friends. You go and speak with them. It will definitely make you feel relaxed and you will be stress free. Now coming to parents. Learn to listen. Definitely, we always command our kids. Wear this cloth. Eat this. Sleep here. Sit there. Do this. Do that. Why we are not listening to our kids? As a parents, we should also learn to listen to our kids. That is also important. It's not like that we should always keep commanding them. Do like this, do like that. Be a role model. Next point is be a role model. Definitely. When we speak and when we act, definitely actions speak louder than words. If we will learn how to handle stress, then we will be a role model for our kids. They will also learn that things automatically. Next point is do not try to solve the teen problems. Definitely. When it comes to solve your teen problems, we as a parents, we are so much worried. We hold the plate full of food and we are running after kids. Beta khalo, beta eat. Why we are feeding? Why we are not teaching them? Eat yourself, be independent. We have to show them path. We have to show them direction. We don't have to give them solution. Let them explore the world. Let them explore themselves and learn. They will learn in more better way. So that was all about handling the stress. Next, over to Jenny ma'am.
Thank you, Suchita ma'am. Thank you, friends, for such an insightful information on teenage stress and its management. I think you have given a well-rounded information with proper demonstrations. You know, as I was going through it, I could see that it was so informative, and I'm sure the parents and students who are here, they have gained a lot from this webinar so far. However, now it's time for me to introduce you to our guest speaker today, who will be in conversation with me, speaking from her personal experience of handling teens and their stress issues. She is a woman of many paths and plays a prominent role in social work leadership. She has been at the helm of spreading awareness and extending help to underprivileged across various age groups. She has worked across various strata of society. The NGO she is associated with has been a front runner in aiding the underprivileged even during the pandemic situation through various relief and aiding programs. Please welcome Ms. Chaitrali Wankar, General Secretary of Women's Wing of International Human Rights Commission, Maharashtra, Projects and Operation Director at Vishwa Kalyan Samajik Sanstha, Thane, and an Internal Compliant Committee member of Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Akshay Patra Foundation, Thane. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to our webinar on teen stress awareness and management. But before we proceed with the conversation, I'll just hold you for a minute. I want to inform the audience that they can type their query as we go ahead with the conversation. They might have during this that conversation. They can type it in the chat box. My friend Prerna Math, she will pick the relevant questions for our guest speaker to answer at the end of the conversation. conversation. Please, remain seated and stay with us. It's going to be very interesting and informative. And please type your questions in the chat box. We will answer at the end of the conversation. So, ma'am, yeah, welcome again. So we got a fair idea about, fair idea and knowledge about what stress is, what are the triggers, how parents can help, and they have pretty much touched upon various things. But you being in the field, having interacted with children of various ages and various stratas of the society, I would like to ask you this question about, how does stress differ between a boy and a girl? What do you think are the prominent signals, that a boy shows and a girl shows? How is it different or how is it similar?
Thank you so much, Jenny. As stated by the other members of the group, wonderful presentation has been made regarding the stress. And when we talk about teenagers, I think it is time to understand that teenagers are basically young adults. So it is time to stop categorizing them as children anymore, but it is also a warning that they are heading towards adulthood. And it is this transition phase which we as adults need to observe more carefully. So when we have to make this observation, the first identification is between their genders, as you rightly said. So does this stress affect them differently? Yes, my answer is very much. Reason being, biologically, males and females are different. Our hormones are different. So it is impossible to say that males and females react in the same way. I'll give you a very simple example. Say for example, if we have to compare the moment when a girl gets her first period, all right, the kind of reaction that she will be giving will be more emotional. It will be confusing, even though she will be aware of this situation well beforehand. If she is made aware of it by her mom or by her teacher, even in that case, when she first experiences her first menstrual cycle, she'll still be emotional. She'll be a bit scared. She'll be a bit concerned about how she is going to face this situation, correct? But since boys do not have to go through any of this kind of situation, their reaction to the same situation will be different. It will be more like a curious reaction, correct? So why is this happening? It's a very simple logic. Our entire existence is purely based on hormones, and the males and the females are having different set of hormones. The testosterone rules the males and the progesterone or the estrogen rules the females. So our reactions are purely based on that, and that's the reason why whenever we go through stress situations, it's the females who end up feeling more stressed. It is an overwhelming situation for them. It is a situation at times which they have to find it very difficult to even express themselves, but they have to. That's the reason why we say girls speak more, whereas boys end up speaking less. That's how we are. I mean, that's how nature has made us. And that's the exact reason why when girls and boys are going through puberty or when they are in this teenage state, it is very difficult to identify the changes between them, because parents look at them as children. They are our children. They have to start observing them as young male and young female. And that's how the parents will be able to identify that, okay, my boy is now a young male and these are the traits that he is exhibiting, and my little girl is now growing up and these are the traits that she is exhibiting, and that's the reason why the stress expressions are different. So both of them cannot be treated in the same way. They have to be treated differently.
Very important point made there, ma'am. I'll just pick one point from what you said, that as women, they're heading towards womanhood, and boys heading towards becoming a man. It's very important to keep an eye, and for the parents to see, what are the changes that are happening. And it is at this point, if I have to look back, even when I was a teenager, they have a very tumultuous relationship with parents. They do not have a very good relationship. They look outwards. They look for friends where they can emote, where they can vent out. So how can parents be supportive to them at this point of time when the hormones are raging and they are simply not listening to parents? It's the hormone which is speaking. So how can parents play a supporting role for the children?
Well, first of all, the first thing that parents should do is listen. Okay, when we are talking about communication, it does not matter with which age group we are communicating. Just the way we expect our spouses, that is our husband or wife, to listen to us, or as teachers, we expect our students to listen to us. The same way, first of all, the parents should learn to listen. Many a times, parents discard the problem. If a child comes up with a point or comes up with a problem saying that, I'm feeling scared or I'm feeling worried, मुझे tension आ गया है. So parents say, इसमें tension की कोई बात नहीं है, you're okay. Parents should stop telling the children that they are okay. Try to understand why they are not feeling okay. So the first thing that parents should do is listen. And second and most important thing, I believe in today's generation, in today's situation, is parents are half the time busy in mobiles. I'll be very honest. Parents are very much involved in their own social medias, and that's the reason why the communication gap is increasing tremendously. That's the reason why children opt and share these kind of issues with their peer, that is with their friends. And it's not compulsory that the peer circle will be good. It's not compulsory that the friends will be of educative quality. Some of them may be really very supportive, very cooperative. Well, some of them may be those types who might guide them towards wrong tracks, such as, just handing them over a cigarette. Try kar le, you'll feel relieved. Just have a sip of this particular alcohol, you'll feel better. No. If parents start listening, if parents keep their mobiles aside, they'll definitely have lots of time to observe, they'll have lots of time to communicate, they'll have lots of time to listen, they'll have lots of time to use the same mobile for searching on Google or on YouTube what exactly my child is going through and how I can help my child through this phase. It's the same way. Just again, another example. If a lady is pregnant for the very first time in her life, this is again a new hormonal change in her. If suddenly she is, left alone, if everybody is busy in their own worlds, will she really get the kind of help that she is looking out for in that particular hormonal stage? No, she will not. Or if we are talking about men who are in their mid-40s or who are heading towards 50s, even they have these hormonal changes. If suddenly they start getting ignored by people around them, people are busy in their own world, people are busy with their jobs, people are busy with their own money matters, people are busy with their own family, and they don't really have time to communicate. How will men react to it? They end up being destructive in some other way. They probably have some extra affairs, or they start drinking more, or they start smoking more. So again, this is a hormonal phase. Teenagers are only going through hormonal phase, and the only thing parents need to do is understand this hormonal change. Rather than discarding the change, rather than saying you're okay, ऐसा होता है, हम भी तुम्हारे उम्र के थे. No. Every person is different. 20 years before, the same mother must have been 20 or must have been 12 or 14 years of age, but that time period was different. Today the time period is different, and another 2 decades down the line the time period will be different. So every decade or two there are changes around us, and we must, as parents, we must observe these changes. We are not prepared for it, but let us use the same laptop or mobile just the way, the frequency of using Facebook and Instagram. Let's try to use this more for YouTube and Google for searching how I can be of more use to my child, how I can be of better support to my child. Let's start doing that as parents. And most importantly, let us stop telling them that it's okay, it's all right, ये होगा, ये होता ही रहता है, और इसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है? शायद as adults हमारे लिए इसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, but for that particular human being उसके लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है, because this teenager stage is never going to come again. So that's what parents can do for the children.
Beautifully explained, ma'am. I think the takeaway from your answer is the parents needs to be more alert, aware, and a patient listener. So I think this is the right time to befriend them, be friendly towards them, and the more they see that they're paying attention, the less they will look outside, because they're very observant. They see their parents every day. If they're not listening, they would very easily know that their parent is not engaged. So I better look for someone more, some reliable. Very rightly said that. So ma'am, apart from the time that they spend with their parents and friends, a considerable amount of time is spent at school and academics with their student and with their friends also. However, there is another, academic parent present there as teachers. So what role do you think teachers can play, and is there a possibility of teacher, parent and student, teaming up or in a way to facilitate this age group.
Right. Now, a parent is an adult inside the home. Once the child steps out of the home, the next adult who is going to cater to the needs of the child is the teacher. All right. Now, every child needs an adult to look up to. Now, usually these children look up to heroes. I mean, the Bollywood heroes or the Hollywood heroes or some kind of superheroes. And they think that when we grow up, we want to be like them. But they are forgetting that that's a fake world. The real world is the world in which they are living. The parents, that is the real world. The school, that is the real world. And as real as the parents are, same way the real are the teachers as well. Now, what can a teacher do in such a situation? Teachers, first of all, should start telling the children that it is time to be a little happy. I'll be very blunt about a certain situation where education is concerned. Parents are telling the children, marks अच्छे चाहिए. Teachers are telling the children, आप पढ़ते नहीं हो. The child is confused. Is numbers everything? Just the way if you look at a social media, if you're talking about Instagram likes, we're talking about YouTube views, if you're talking about Facebook reactions and comments, numbers, it's all numbers. Why are we stressing so much on numbers? Why aren't we talking about anything else? The teachers, let the parents do what they're doing. The teachers should stop talking about numbers. The teachers should start talking more about knowledge. Education is not marks. Education is knowledge. The marks are definitely important. I'm not going to deny that marks are of no use. Yes, marks are definitely important. But much more than that, it is the knowledge. For me, I do not remember how much did I get in my second unit test in 4th standard. I don't know. If you ask anybody, do you remember how much did you get in your final exam when you were in 8th standard? No. But do you remember what is the basic concepts of science or mathematics or English or Hindi, Marathi, history, geography? Do you remember these things? Yes. Because that is knowledge based. If you keep concentrating on marks, it's not going to work, right? So the teachers have to stop talking about marks. Probably then the children will start relaxing a little bit more when the teacher becomes more descriptive where the knowledge is concerned. Try to teach in a fun way. Now, fun doesn't mean create a laughter scene in the classroom. Yes, laughter is required. Why is that required? I'll tell you the same. Now, usually the classroom scenario is please keep silent. I am in the midst of a conversation. I'm here to teach you a particular topic and I want utter silence in the class. No, that's not required. A classroom can also be a discussion room. It can also be a give and take of points. Like, for example, if a teacher is teaching a particular topic, then it need not mean that she is simply talking one-handed. She can also ask the students, what do you think about this? That's the way children will start thinking. The more they think, the more better ideas they will have. The more relaxed they will feel that the topic is not all that boring. Probably I can find, I can take some interest in this kind of topic. And during that conversation, teachers can try to create a little, humorous side of conversation as well. Now, since our topic is totally related to stress, let me be very clear about one thing. Stress hormone, or as we call it as cortisol, it reduces our ability to concentrate. It reduces our ability to grasp things. As teachers, because since children are in the school for almost 6 to 8 hours, as teachers, I think the children need less of cortisol and more of a happy hormone, or as we call it as a dopamine. That's what the teachers can do. Try to create a little humor in a certain situation. And I'm sure the children will react in a better way. The children will take more interest in studies. The children will take more interest in learning. The children will take more interest in thinking about what a teacher is trying to tell us. And most importantly, the teacher is also supposed to encourage creative activities. Now, a simple subject like English need not become as rough as, okay, this is grammar, this is theory, this is this. No, you need not do that. Or a boring subject like mathematics at times. It need not be just the numbers. It can be fun. It can be some situation. I think the teachers need to make a classroom a little more humorous, a little more lively. And that's how the children will feel relaxed. Once they start feeling relaxed, they will automatically start responding better, the children. And that's what, as an adult, the teacher can do for the child.
Very rightly said, ma'am. So I'll quickly go to Prerna now, as we are, I think, running short of time. Prerna, could you do we have any questions from the audience for ma'am?
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Yeah, we have questions, but due to time constraint, I'll just quickly read one question for ma'am. The question is stress cause to depression? The question we have from one of our friends.
Yes, stress causes depression. Now,
Excuse
as
me,
we
ma'am,
say
I
that
think I'll
depression
add to it
is,
a little bit. When to
yeah,
seek professional help in the same question. If it leads to depression, when to seek professional help?
right. See, stress definitely causes depression. Now, depression can be a very tricky word. The moment you start feeling low, nowadays people call it as depression. All right. Now, the meaning of depression itself is when you have totally lost hope. You are not looking at anything in a positive way. We can call that as depression. The moment you go into self-doubt, the moment you start doubting your own abilities, your own thoughts, your own capabilities, that is the first stage of depression. And this starts growing deeper. And because there is no one to communicate with, because there is no one to support you regarding this, because there is no one who will tell you that it is absolutely okay to feel this way, we will work it out. We will work towards how you can feel better about it. This starts leading towards more chronic depression. And the moment a child starts showing more abusive qualities, such as verbal abuse. Now we say that gali kahan se seekha? Now gali is just a word. It's just another word like sorry and thank you. But why is this word being used more frequently? Why is the F word used more frequently by the teenagers? Because they think that using this word is going to vent away that, that stressful pressure that they have on their mind for that particular moment. And that's the reason why they start using such words. Parents should start observing this. Parents should understand that, all right, the children are now becoming abusive. But when we also talk about abuse, it does not mean verbal abuse. It is also physical abuse. A child is going to start showing a different body language. There could be symptoms of stress in their entire body language. When a child was born, the parent knew what the child was going through. Likewise, when the child went through school, the parent knew what he or she was going through. But simply when they went to the teenage phase, the child started retaliating, the child started back answering, the child started voicing out the opinions in a more strong way. The parent simply said, okay, ab to itna bhi bada nahi ho gaya. That's the time when the parent is now supposed to observe that the body language is changing. And that's the exact step where the parent needs to be alert. Now this, if the parent is not listening properly or observing properly, the child can also start becoming destructive. Now destruction means, agar mere marzi ka nahi hota, I'm simply going to bang something. I'm simply going to throw something. I'm simply going to raise my voice. I'm going to yell. I'm going to shout. Why? Because the child is basically trying to pull all those emotions out in some or the other way, either verbally or through action, so that the parent finally starts listening. That's the time when the parent should actually seek professional help, because the moment the temper has risen so much, it's not too far that the child will become destructive towards self or towards someone else. In a fit of destruction, you never know when the child is simply going to, try attempting to cut its wrist. It might keep holding it over there, thinking, what will happen? Let me see. What will happen? Let me see. What will happen? When this kind of thought starts showing, that's the point where the child has already gone out of your hand. If the child has also started, throwing excessive tantrums, is shouting at the topmost of their voice in order to express their views, is trying to break television, or is trying to break their mobile phones, or simply throwing the laptop around, that's the time when the parents should now finally take the child towards professional help, because they are already on the verge of losing their mental peace. They have already lost it, you can say. Nothing is more important than that mental peace.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that eye-opening, description that you have given. I think it's time for parents to, take a closer look at their adolescents. And not only that, it's such a big topic too. It's not possible to, just, sum it up in such a short time. I wish we had more time with you, and the way you were explaining and the examples that you're giving, they are definitely eye-opening. And I'm sure there are many parents who are viewing you right now or listening to you, and they will pay heed to it. They will take a note of that, and I just wish that this generation get the best of the technology, and not just see the flip side of it. And with that, if parents can aid them, nothing like it. So I would like to, end it here, this conversation right now, and I will request our principal, ma'am, Dr. Anjana Rawat, to say a few words if she's here.
Yeah, good afternoon, one and all. I'm very happy and glad that this webinar was conducted by my team as per BA student and in charge teacher Ketan sir, Savita madam, as well as Pratibha Kamble madam. Thank you very much, Chaitrali madam. You have really given an insight about stress management, and really we required it because we are in a working class group, okay, and we have to manage so many activities, our job area plus household activities and so on, to look after family, children, husband, and so many things are there. That means we are doing multitask. So really stress may come in between, and that we have to manage it anyhow. So nicely you have given explanation, and I am very proud that my team has arranged such a wonderful webinar. So all the best wishes once again, and thank you for accepting our invitation, and definitely in a long way we have to work together. Okay, now it's not possible to work physically, but your message will go far beyond, and everybody will take benefit of it. So thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those kind words, and cannot agree more with you. Without further ado, I would now request, Remya for a vote of thanks, so that we can end the session.
Good afternoon to all, and thank you, team, for giving me this opportunity to extend a vote of thanks today. Firstly, I would want to congratulate my entire team for organizing such an informative session on teenage stress management. I would like to give my sincere thanks to our resource person, Ms. Chaitanya ma'am, for sparing her precious time and giving her valuable inputs on stress management and making this session exceptionally wonderful. Before I go ahead, I would like to give special mention about our audience who were so active and made this session very lively and interactive. We are sorry that we couldn't answer all your questions. Next, I would like to thank our principal ma'am, Dr. Anjana Rawat ma'am, our teachers, Ketan Kamble sir, Mrs. Savita Upasni ma'am, Pratibha Kamble ma'am, Paulmati Lucas ma'am, and our technical team also. I would like to thank our technical team also for their constant support. Our teachers who gave us this platform for extending their constant support and guidance. My special thanks also goes to our entire team of Vishwa Kalyan Samajik Sanstha, entire team for their continuous coordination and support and hard work in making this program a success. Before I leave, I would request you all to give your valuable feedback. The link of the feedback form would be sent in the group as soon as possible. So with this, I would like to declare that the program is ended. Suchita ma'am.
Yes, we can end the program now.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.